So I needed a 3/8 wrench, 15/16 for the socket, for the jam nut, and 1 1/8 wrench for this, which has a sleeve that goes into there. So we're taking the first cog off, just like in the other one, and there's a bearing in there. These parts will have to be cleaned, and then from all of these we will determine which ones we're going to use. So we're disassembling a second unit. So this here is the one that pushes against it and has a spring when you want to unload. Right there, pushes your belt. That's freewheeling there. And we got a spring retained on there. And we will take a look. That's just dirt. Nothing here, that's just a lip of the part right here that goes on. So you would have a bearing pressed in there. This spring is retained right there. So we have that part. Okay, paying attention here. We have us a shim that goes on there. Okay, we were able, this comes off of the sleeve right here. We were able to pry it off with some screwdrivers. I don't know if that means that that's wore some or what. I boogered up this here because I'd forgot, didn't watch my video, and there's 6 bolts now in there, and then this hub will come off. So check your books, because even I just screwed it up. Now there are 2 bolts that are bigger. They have a 3/4 head on them, and they go across from one another. You can see them right there. Okay, go ahead. And you can see they're like a shoulder bolt. Okay, take the other one out.
Can't get straight on it.
Now we're bringing this off. And there is the shaft that goes into the power input. Okay, got this swept out. There's 2 long carriage bolts here. If you go back and watch the other video, we're going to take the nuts off the back side. Got the nuts off of the back side. They were 9/16. Because the shaft is wore, it would not move out till I turned it and pried on it. Okay, a little bit more prying and persuasion, and there she be. Just like the other ones. Get that into focus. You can see she's wore. This is pretty typical. Yes, it has a lot of life left in it, but I want to get all of these. That bearing actually feels pretty good and probably is pretty good, but I want to get it changed. And even if you didn't change it, you'd want to get all that nasty grease out of it. But there it is. Let's compare it, obviously, to the new one. It doesn't have wear. And this one that we took out earlier has about the same amount of wear. So there it is. There's that right there on that edge lip there is what was causing it to stick in there. So I slid the new shaft in. And honestly, the real question would be whether to clean up and reinstall everything and not proceed any further with removing the bell housing, changing out the disc. We have the disc, but that play is pretty minimal. But let's compare it to the new disc right down here. Guy would have to clean up all of the cosmoline and put it together, but there is no play at all. Been doing some studying, and we put grease in that grease zert and cleaned out the tube. This is old grease here. There's our new grease. So we understand now how that goes right into the bearing. And that's a good thing. But we find that it has also filled up the cavity because that gets over-greased sometimes from people, which is good. It doesn't really hurt anything. There's not a clutch disc in there, but we're working on cleaning it out. I am debating on whether or not to really pull this. Even though I bought the disc, I think I would have to pull the engine, which I should have done before I started working on it. Should have just pulled the engine and worked on it and then put it back in. Well, we did it. Probably didn't need to do it, but we did it. So we got it out. Little patience and persistence. And right down there it is. Now we'll be able to clean everything up and start fresh. And we'll be able to put our disc in. Really probably didn't need to do this, but I wanted to say I've done it. Not a lot. There's where she would be. See, she's right there. So we did have to bend up our cowling a little bit, but we'll be able to straighten that. Pull it back around. But we're documenting it. You can do it without pulling the engine. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.